Hello, I'm Mirella.
And I'm Zoe.
Welcome to the Critical Obsession podcast.
It's episode 2 of Last Twilight.
Yes, last Twilight, Safe House Crushes.
So should we get watching?
I'm ready.
Alright, well let's go watch part 1 then. Part 1. So
Did you notice the fairy tale like almost eerie music piano sound during the disclaimer?
it's so funny the things that you notice that I like completely just go past me. No, I didn't. I mean, I noticed it was music, but I wasn't really paying attention to it, if that makes any sense.
It was a bit unsettling.
Oh, okay.
But like in a fairy tale way, in a fairy tale that starts like with mystery and like you don't know how it ends and it's dangerous and it's like that is the vibe that it gave me.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Hmm. And it started with the door. He was at the door.
Yeah, well, it's actually there is a bit of a parallel to that being let into the privilege, really, isn't there? When I can see that after coming off of Dangerous Romance and having the rich versus the poor.
I mean, it's imagery that works, so
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
we
already
could
it's like
read
it has
that.
inbuilt conflict already. So
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that it's not a live-in position. That was my first thing when she was talking about you need to be here from this time to this time. I was like, wait, he's not moving in. I don't know why I had in my mind that he was going to end up living there.
Hmm.
So I was surprised when, he's not. I mean, it makes sense because it gives him the opportunity to go away and,
Hmm.
interact with the ex-girlfriend and other people from his, the other parts of his life and stuff. Um, but I was surprised because quite often these kinds of jobs are, especially in this early period where he's still like kind of learning how to deal.
Hmm.
So, and the whole no father thing, I thought that was interesting. It's clearly a sore subject. Um, the mother is really good at avoiding questions. I love the way she says, only 3 of us live here without like giving any
Hmm.
other information.
Hmm. He's good. He's a bit maybe direct or tactless, but he notices stuff. He noticed the magazine.
Yeah,
He he does have attention to detail.
yeah. I think he's observant for sure.
Yeah, to the things that he thinks are important, at least.
Yeah,
Like he can focus and be attentive
yeah. It's like if
and
he
productive
only would
again.
use the power for good.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that she mentioned that he only eats what I make. That was such a possessive thing to say, also kind of protective. It's like she has been protecting Day, but really sheltering him from the world.
Yeah, they're
Maybe,
definitely.
maybe, yeah, maybe even before he lost his vision. Maybe
Yeah.
it was her way of treating him, of raising him.
Well, she's some sort of famous chef or something, right? So when he was an athlete, she probably gave him a diet that was, suitable for improving stamina and, health and all that sort of stuff. So um, she probably has been looking after him like that for a while. Be interesting to see if we get like a scene from him where he desperately just like wants a cheeseburger or something, like all the Thai equivalent of a cheeseburger. He wants to get out of like just only eating her food or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
it would be interesting as well if for some reason something happens and her food is inedible for some reason or whatever, and then Mock has to actually cook for Day, and Day then
Mhm.
asks for whatever he cooks because he likes it or whatever. Like this could be interesting, and it would probably piss the mother off like big time.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I thought it was funny too, like his reaction to how much money he's getting paid. I did a quick little
yeah.
like search and worked out like for me it's like about $2,500, which is it's probably about average, like for somewhat decent wage. For a month,
Mhm.
it's maybe a little bit under, but not it depends on what you earn. It was 55,000. Uh,
Yeah,
Whatever, I can't remember what the Thai dollar is right
but
now. It's
right?
but yeah,
Yeah.
for you it's like 7,000 ron.
Hmm.
So what's that like as a wage for you for a month? Is that a good wage or is it below or above or?
It depends on where you live, but it's above average.
Yeah. It's about for like I guess the major like a lot of people listening, maybe US dollars is easier. It's about $1,500. So I don't know, like in comparison, whether that's good, but obviously for anything
No,
he's
maybe.
obviously earned, it's higher than. That's the impression that I got from his reaction. And when he was all like, I was like, oh boy, you're going to earn every penny of that. I feel like he's going to earn it and like need hazard pay as well potentially. I also liked when Knight asked him if he could make coffee, and he was like, "Sure, I can," and he made him like what is apparently a very bad cop. Um,
You
and I
think he did that on purpose?
well, I remember someone once said to me because I don't drink coffee. I barely drink tea. I drink like fruit teas, but like
Mhm.
I I really can only make a cup of tea that my mum will drink, and I feel that's because she like trained me from birth. But because I don't drink coffee, I've always said, like I make a bad cup of coffee. And someone once said to me, like, do that. If you make someone a bad cup of coffee, they will never ask you for another cup again. So I thought that
Mhm.
that was kind of like maybe where he was going with this. Or it could just be that, like, he's a working class guy and strong black coffee is good coffee, like it's just because it's quick, it does the trick, it wakes you up, it puts hair
I
on your chest.
didn't, yeah, I didn't like the fact that Knight asked him to do that. Like he already looks at him and sees a servant,
A
and
servant,
it
yeah.
reminded me of Kang's dad when he like was asking Seifa to do all kinds of shit that he was not employed to do. That was not his
Yeah,
responsibility.
it's funny because
I
I
was like,
half ex-
is he going to say no?
yeah,
But then at the same time, he does think that they're paying him a lot of money, so maybe he thinks like that he needs to do more, and
yeah,
he'll do whatever. And at the same time, is something going to? I feel like there is going to be a moment when Day tells him off, like this is not his job. Go make your own coffee or something like this. I would
yeah.
be not surprised if something like this happens.
Well, I'm
I
at
was
this.
expecting the mom to tell him that.
I was
Like,
just
this
gonna
is
say
not.
that. Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
I was expecting the mother to say like he's not your servant or it's not your because she pretty much said to him like your only job is to do XYZ for day. So I was
Mhm.
expecting her to stick to that. And when she didn't comment on it, I thought it was strange. So you might be right. It might be later on, especially once they start having feelings and stuff. I could see Day getting pissed if Knight is like ordering walk around like he's just like an average,
I
one of
mean,
their house servants.
I think they already have a crush on each other.
Yeah. I'm just like I did that thing where I accidentally watched the trailer for the next scene, but I
Oh,
won't tell you.
you always do that.
It was an accident. It just
You have no
happened.
restraint, Zoe.
I have like zero chill.
So I guess he never leaves his room.
Yeah, I thought it was really. I liked the way they did this scene actually because it was really good because it gave Mog a way to basically check out Day's room without being observed. He got to learn these little bits and pieces about him that he maybe wouldn't have noticed. He's using his observant thing again. And what I did notice, and I don't know if you noticed it, is the picture above the bed is the little prince playing
Yes,
badminton.
yes, I did.
And so,
Also, some big things I wanted to say before we talk about this scene is that the mother is like looking at him disapprovingly, like she doesn't trust him. And Knight says he only has the bad guy look. And I'm like, not really. I mean, didn't you like do your background check? Even the dad in Dangerous Romance did, and I cannot believe that I'm bringing him as an example here. Like it's something that people should do, but at the same time, I don't know. It's like I feel like that it's okay to do that if you're asking someone to take care of your child who's not really capable of taking that care of themselves at the moment. So I find it a bit weird. I feel like she doesn't know that he's been in jail and everything.
yeah. Well, one of the things I used to do as a job is I used to look after people who we would term as vulnerable. So
Mhm.
here you have to do to be able to do that job, you actually have to have like a police check. Because essentially you are in control of somebody who is in some way or another not in control of themselves,
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
fully. And so it was really interesting to see that from my perspective as well, because I was a bit like, you do know he's been in prison, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. And then I
And for
like
and
the
for and
whole.
for like a violent assault too, like with a bottle or some shit, not even just like, you know,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And then I like the scene, I like the hall where he walked down the hall towards Day's room, and it was like white and black and kind of reminded me of a chess table because even the floor was like a chess table, and it felt a bit frigid. And then he walked into Day's room, and it's like it had a completely different vibe. It was alive, but at the same time, it was dark and like his personality. It represented his personality so well. It's like the room was alive,
Yeah. It was
but also
interesting. It's
darkness.
interesting that you word it that way, because I thought the same thing. It felt his room felt very like muted and dark, but like
Mhm.
still warm.
Yeah.
Like the coloring should have really made it feel cold, but it didn't feel like
Hmm.
that at all. Maybe it was because of all the stuff everywhere.
Hmm.
But I loved how, yes, I said I love how we got this scene with him walking around, and yes, of course, the picture above the bed, which is a little prince, and I knew
But
straight
also,
away because of the yellow
yeah,
scarf, you know.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, so the question, we put this question out to you guys as well. We talked about it ourselves, and the question of who the little prince is in this show is up for debate. But
Hmm.
clearly, Day at some point thought he
Associate
was, yeah,
himself.
thought he was
Yeah.
the little prince, or at least he used to.
Well,
Um,
what I think is that I think maybe they will become the other, like the fox for each other, like they will teach each other stuff because they both need, they will
lessons.
both change. This is something that will happen in the story, and
Mm,
this is like they relate, they are alike.
mm,
You see how Morg relates to today. We got the scene where he thought of his issues and he was like, okay, I can understand this. And I feel like they can both have, they both have characteristics of the little prince, and if they help each other, then it means that they both are the fox for each other,
mm.
teaching each other lessons.
I
Just
actually, the bit that you just mentioned there, I thought was a really interesting scene, because um the way they filmed that, you had him, they had him like remembering the moment, like with
mhm,
the ankle bracelet and everything, and I guess like the shame that that invoked, and so
mhm.
he empathized with him in that
Yeah,
moment.
exactly.
He understood the feeling.
Yeah,
But then when they showed him like pull down his pant leg, even though it's been removed, like now he's sympathizing with him, because like it's like for him, even though it's gone, like the stain is still there.
yeah.
So yeah, it was, I really liked the
Also,
way they did that.
yeah, attention to detail. They're very good.
Mm-mm.
And then him looking at Day while he sleeps and smiling.
I
I'm
know,
like,
like
why are you
what was
smiling?
that? I mean, I
What's
did wonder.
with this tenderness?
I did wonder if the smile was like, along the lines of, how when you have been looking after, well, I used to look after like little kids all the time, and um I remember like one baby I looked after had like colic, and then another one, like they were like siblings, and the other one had like was teething, and so all they did like was cry like for hours and
Mm,
hours and hours, and they eventually went to sleep. And like while they
mhm.
were crying, I was like, ugh. And then when they were asleep, they were like these perfect little angels. And I found myself standing there staring at them with a stupid grin on my face, like, oh my god, they're so adorable. Like, and I was like, seriously. And
It's hilarious.
I can't help but
Yeah.
think that a little bit of that was him being like, oh look, isn't he sweet when he's unconscious? It's like, why he's quiet and not saying anything. He's really cute. Was
It's
like,
hilarious that we had this moment. It's just so funny. And also, I freaking love, like, this is the umbrella. The aquarium is the umbrella of this series because Day is the fish in the aquarium. The water is dirty. He's alone in there. The aquarium is the room. The aquarium is his medium, is his like
no.
life that everyone has been watching him as a fish. Like the fish is watched and he was a celebrity, and now everyone can watch him like be something different,
Mm.
be locked in this aquarium and like,
Yeah,
but it's
actually,
such a good decision to have the aquarium there.
Yeah, it's very interesting actually because you talking about that had made me think of something, but I'll just like I'll sit on it for a while. What I did
And of
want to
course, Mark is going to clean the water in the aquarium because it's
no, that's what
dirty.
I was gonna say. Yeah, but it's interesting because if you're relating it to Day and his environment, he has no
Hmm.
control. Like he can't clear things up for himself. He
Yeah.
can't control that. So it's interesting that it's going to be the same person doing both things. But the other thing I liked is when he was looking at the different things. You know, like he looked briefly at the rackets and the trophies and that, but he kind of paused at the picture, like the baby picture, or I say baby, but it was
Hmm.
probably more like a toddler picture of Day at the beach. And I know,
Hmm.
like from the trailer and that, we've had scenes of them, like we have scenes of them later on where they're at the beach and all that sort of stuff. And I had to
Hmm.
wonder if, like, if there's a dark point, what, like, if the reason maybe like Mork will take him to the ocean because he remembers this was like a happy memory, and so he
Hmm.
takes him there. So I'm curious to see if that pans out. Here's me,
I,
I'm laying out a possibility right now.
I'm 100% sure this will happen. And also the plant moment that the plant is dead, it's not growing anywhere, it's not taken care of, metaphorical and everything. Like, and the self-esteem Bible, what the self-esteem Bible is doing there?
Mm.
Especially
It's
like, was he using this? Because someone said, like the counseling guy
yeah, yeah. He
said
said
he
he
used
was
to have a lot
confident,
of confidence,
or maybe
but
he didn't.
I guess he didn't. I guess he was anxious. I guess he was
Or
anxious to lose everything.
he
And
knew, yeah, he knew beforehand. Remember that he was going to go blind, so maybe
mhm,
that was a matter of him like trying to work out how to bluff, you know, while he had to, because he obviously wasn't willing to let anyone know like that something like was happening. It'd be interesting to see if we get any back play on that, you know, like if we get to see any back scenes from, you know,
mhm,
the accident when he first found out, like leading up to playing that game where he went fully, or not fully, but like,
mhm,
you know, a
mhm,
lot more
yeah,
blind. If
mhm,
he if there had been a conversation like with his mum or whatever where she said, you know, like maybe you should retire, perhaps we should tell people, like these sorts of
mhm,
things, and him being like adamant that like no. And it could be partly because he was hoping that it just wouldn't get that to that stage, or also just, you know, he didn't, as the counselor said, once again, he didn't want to be seen differently, and so to compensate for that he was studying up on how to be more confident, or how to retain the confidence that he'd previously had, you know. um
we can get this as flashbacks if he starts opening up to Mork and starts telling him stuff.
yeah, yeah, probably,
I
you're
love,
probably right.
I really love the scene where Mork examines the room. Like, I think we spent quite a bit of time there, and he
Mm,
goes around and everything, but I was so engaged, I could not feel time. I was
mm,
so curious, like just as curious as he was, probably. But I
yeah.
was also watching his reaction. Like, it's really good.
I
I
also
love this.
like I also thought it was really interesting though as well. It was like he's there
Oh, and
literally
it's
for
also, it's another long take of him. Like, the long take is not very long, but it's kind of like you observe that it's a bit unusual, just as the one where from the previous episode when he, gets out of the house and walks away,
yeah.
when, and the camera is focused on his face and we see how he actually decides to go back and try to work for these people.
Mm,
And so this scene reminded me of that one. Like, there's something about it that I really, really like, and
yeah.
can't put my finger on it.
Well, I had two things that I noticed. The first thing was all of the books around the place when he first went in. You know, like you
Yeah,
mentioned, the confidence book that was on top of a pile of books on the desk, but all stacked around the
on the
place.
floor.
There were books everywhere,
Mhm.
and it looks.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks very similar to the room I'm in right now. And if you're a reader, then you tend to have piles of books everywhere. Um, and so I just thought it was really interesting, and I thought, you know, like I feel like for me personally, I feel like if I was to lose my sight, that was one of the things that I would hate the most about it, is not being able to read. And I mean, look, don't get me wrong, I know there's ways to do it. There's braille books, there's audio books, there's all these great things you can do these days. And I don't mind listening to books on tape and things like that. I love it, but I feel like there's just something about reading it yourself, you know. And it's like it's the difference between an ebook and like a paperback or something. It's the same
Yeah,
thing.
you get lost. You get lost in
Yeah,
this. Like, you don't understand where you are. Like, audiobooks don't, like, if you listen to an audiobook, you can also do something with your hands. You can move around.
yeah,
Like,
you get
there's two
distracted. Mm,
planes where you exist. Like, yeah. but if you read a book that's in your in your hands,
Yeah.
and you read it, it needs your complete focus, all of your attention, and you
Well, I
just
mean,
get
I think
lost in
you
this
can.
world.
I think you can do that with an ebook too. I mean, if you've got all your notifications turned off, of
Yeah, a
course.
book. Yeah,
But I
I
feel,
meant that. I
but
didn't
I
mean the
no, no, no. But
paper book,
I
just
feel like there's in something intrinsically
reading.
different though between an ebook and a paperback. I just thought
Yeah.
it was interesting that he is in this position where, out of all of the things that we're seeing visually in his room, besides the rackets and stuff like that, because obviously that's like a huge part of like who he was before,
Mhm.
this is showing something else of like that he is not ready to let go of, because he, you know, they're everywhere still, and so much so that like they were like, as I said, for somebody, yeah, it's his environment, so he knows where thing is if no one comes in behind him and like moves things around or whatever.
Mhm.
But like
Mhm.
there was a couple of piles like towards the end of the desk and that were balancing very precariously and stuff like that. Would be very, you would have to only just sort of knock them and they would come tumbling down, sort of thing. um
Also,
which
besides this, the fact that he has so many books is interesting because he was an athlete, which means he spent most of his time training.
Yeah.
And how much time do you have for everything else? Like, this basically means if he loved books and spent so much time on books as well, he did not really have a life outside of all this.
No.
He probably didn't have friends. He probably didn't like experience a lot of
Yeah.
things.
He probably just had like his teammate and coaches and things like that, and then like the rest
Yeah,
of the time, yeah, he
his
was it's
life yeah, his life was the sport, and then he experienced other lives, other things through books.
yeah. And it's interesting as well that like they're talking about him being locked up in his room and everything and not coming out, but it poses the question as to whether or not before he really left the house, if it wasn't for sports related stuff, did he ever
Hmm.
really do anything else? But yeah, so
Yeah.
the other thing I thought was interesting about this whole scene and everything was we had Mork basically get the download of like what his job entails. He takes the food there, he has a bit of a look around, and then we know he cleans the room,
the
and then basically
the aquarium.
he's like finished and he's got enough time to like have a cigarette and like have a chat on the phone. Like he's at this point he's like, this is a cruisy job.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
but it's so funny. I loved when he was talking to the ex-girlfriend about Day's room, and he's like, the line was, "I was afraid animals would use it as a lair."
It's just, it's funny that Jay reacted quite calm to that. Like, he was like, it's like he didn't really care enough to tell him what was wrong, to spend some time to express his frustration or something. He just like asked him calmly to go away.
Yeah.
And more kind of hates the fact that there was no reaction and the fact that it wasn't appreciated. Like, he fixated on that, and it's so funny.
Well, I
He
mean,
wanted that
obviously,
reaction. He wanted
yeah.
that communication.
Obviously, there's going to be like Day is assuming that he's not going to stick around. It's not going to last. It's not worth his trouble trying to
Yeah,
educate this guy
exactly,
because
exactly.
he's going to be gone anyway. Like I feel like he thinks he's going to give up. And the funny thing is the fact that the counselor pretty much says that he's like betting that he's going to be done soon is like it just gives him that much more like encouragement to stick around, which is
Yeah,
probably you
yeah,
know why he actually said that to him, like personality
yeah,
wise it's like
yeah,
a
yeah.
a red flag sort of thing.
There.
Yeah, a dare, that's right. And you see it like he kind of smiles like because he's like, yeah, like you're gonna lose
Mm-hmm,
that bet sort of thing. um
mm-hmm.
but the other bit I loved as well is when he was talking to the ex-girlfriend and he says to her, about like they're talking about how they ended up dating and everything, and he goes, eventually you got soft on me, he will too. And it's just like, are you listening to yourself, like the comparison between the two, like them having the same reaction? I'm like, you are hearing yourself right now, Rourke, right? You are standing over his bed and like smiling, so maybe.
Smiling with tenderness. I love Namtan's character already.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name, but I love her. I hope we see more of her in the series.
I think she's meant to be in it quite a bit
Hmm.
because she's
She's
like
going to
his
have her own stuff.
Yeah, and she's his sounding board as well, you know. So
And also the counselor comes and
I liked the
when they
counselor
close,
character too.
yeah, like it's undeniable. He is very charming and like he's smart. Like he's like another voice of reason in this series right now. The
Mm-mm.
voice of like he's the maybe he is the person who for us for the viewers brings provides this information that we don't know of,
Mm-mm.
like we need in order to understand the character better,
Yeah.
especially if you don't really have a lot of knowledge regarding how people with
Mm-hmm.
vision issues navigate the world, because
Yeah.
I don't know anyone. And so he provides this information, but he's also like the voice of reason
Mm.
in the series. He manipulated Mork a little bit by telling him that they bet on him leaving.
Yeah.
So he
Well,
did something.
I think as he said to today, this is the first time you've like talked to me like this about somebody. Like, so he knows that this guy is
Speaking
different.
truth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a positive like interaction that he himself has just had with Day. So he's like, okay, already he's like riled him up enough to like have this improvement on him. Like what could happen next kind of thing. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like he sees him as a positive influence. So of course he's going to try and
He
keep.
got interested. I guess up until now he was kind of dead. He said it himself. He was a dead man, and dead people, if you're dead inside, like you don't really get interested and curious about people and excited about them
Yeah.
positively or negatively. But clearly, he is curious about this guy and about the stuff that he does.
Mm-mm.
I also thought the scene where he closed the door into Morg's face hilarious because
Oh,
he
it
kind
was
of
so. He's like, "Do you want something to eat?" No, doors straight in the face. Yeah.
yeah, because like I think he thought he was special. He thought Jay thought he was special or something because they had this whole thing with the book and the connection and everything, but Jay pushes him away right now because he's like, no.
I think it's funny though as well because it's like this moment when the counselor sort of says to him, you know, you have this is the first time you sort of like, you know, had this reaction. He's like, wait, what? No. And he's like, wait, hang on. And they said now he's
Mm-hmm.
thinking it. So now he's going to be evaluating how he is and how he
Mm-hmm.
feels and how he thinks about Mork. So
I love that moment as well. I loved his reaction. I love that, like as acting, as
yeah,
an
he just
acting
looked
thing.
he
Yeah,
looks so confused and he's just like, what? No, really? Like really? No, you
yeah,
sure?
uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's gonna be
And you
interesting
see,
now to see him like after
and
their interactions and that to see his like mind turning over about like how he feels about it and stuff.
yeah, him analyzing his feelings and everything. Yeah, and
Mm.
it's the line. It's not easy to spend time with someone with no visual impairment.
Well, because they
It
don't
really
you
bothers
can't
me.
really understand. I mean, like you said, you don't know much about how to navigate that world. I've worked in the industry. I know, like, I've worked with people with vision impairment and stuff like that. And I know, like, I can understand how scary it must be and things like that. You know, like I had clients who like Day in their own environment can function really, really well. But
Mm-hmm.
like trying to advocate for them to get like more funding for care and things like that for when they leave the house is sometimes really hard to make people understand because as soon as they leave the safety of their environment they are even if they have you know like 75% you know vision or 65 or whatever it's like they're completely blind suddenly because everything is like unfamiliar, dangerous, scary. Like you just there's too many obstacles, there's too many, you know, things that we all take for granted. They just can't navigate and it's really scary and it's a lot of work. I did just want to say something else and I completely forgot. Oh, the bit about the smoking. I did just want to mention this. How like when he came in after the cigarette, how Day was like, "You stink like cigarettes." I wonder if he's gonna end up quitting.
Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course,
Because
of
like you know
course.
your other senses are so heightened and if that bothers him like it's like not gonna get better it's gonna get worse so especially if they as they start to get closer
Part two.
it's so funny because like literally you were just talking about the aquarium and then there's all this like aquarium stuff
I
And
was just, what I thought was funny is how you predicted there was going to be a beach scene, and it literally started with a scene of them on the fucking beach.
the little like weird like little romantic bits they keep putting in before the
Uh-huh,
starts.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew that they like did that because they show you that in the trailer that they go there. But I
Well,
wonder if
I knew.
I wonder if it's triggered like when it comes up in the story, if it's triggered because like he's having a bad day, or you know what I mean, like he's struggling, so he takes him there for that reason. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what I was gonna say was the bit where, jumping a bit ahead, but the bit where he where they're talking about the fish in the tank and that, and he says how it must be lonely, and he says, "Oh,
Yeah.
goldfish have a really short memory. Like, don't you know anything?" And he sort of just looks at him. So you're like, he's like he was. It's like, dude, he was talking about you. It's like he wasn't talking about the fish.
Him waiting by the door, him doing the "I'm here." He thinks it's so funny.
The
Like he
way,
wants to
yeah,
play, he wants to help, he wants to be there.
yeah,
He
the
wants to
way
do
he
something.
watches him though, like when he knows he can't sort of see him, is
Mm-hmm.
like it's really it's interesting because it must be kind of freeing, to be able to do that, to observe somebody in such a
Mm-hmm.
way, especially, if there's a feeling there or something. You can, I mean, like how often do we as people, if we're attracted to somebody or like whatever, you first meet somebody or something and maybe you're just curious about them or whatever, it's like human nature, sometimes we can't help but stare or like whatever, but we try and
It's
restrain
like
ourselves because
he's stalking him, but up close because he has that opportunity.
yeah,
Up
it's
close
like
stalking.
he doesn't have to worry about the fact that
Mhm.
he might get caught out
You
or
know, it's
whatever.
funny. Like during that scene where he goes away from the house, and in episode 1 when he decides to go back and agree to the job, the flashbacks are a lot of them are related to the car, and it's kind of like he, in a way, in some way, he decides to do that because he wants to win back the car. He wants to buy the car to pay for the car.
Mm.
But this is not how a person who only does this for the money behaves. He cares. He wants to do something. He wants to make a change.
I think also though, like this is gonna sound, it's not quite the way I want to word it, but it's the only way I can think of at this point in time. It's kind of a novelty as well. Like he's having fun, like it's interesting to him. So
Mm-hmm.
watching Day's reactions and all the rest of it, it's like he's enjoying himself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is part of like obviously when feelings are starting or like whatever appreciation anyway,
Yeah.
because he's having this like you know this fun with like
Yeah.
seeing what reaction he's going to get and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um I noticed as well there's a refrigerator just outside the bedroom door, so like probably that's where there's like stuff in case he wants something in the middle of the night or like cold
Mm-hmm.
drinks or like whatever, which is
Did not
interesting.
notice that.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. And he was listening to Little Prince again.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. So once again, he's listening to it, and also the part in the story is like, saying about, it's so funny because it's like literally mirroring kind of like the bit outside the door where Mork was waiting for him, where it was like, I'll just sit close to you and like look at you out the corner of my eye, and then if you're okay with that, if you're comfortable with that, then each day I'll move a little bit closer.
Mhm.
And it was so funny, and it's just like it's kind of exactly what was happening. And I knew he would have to call him, and then the way Mark like sniffed himself because he remembered the cigarette comment. So
Yeah.
he's paying attention and he cares. Like as you said, he cares that he doesn't want to make him uncomfortable or anything like that. I mean, technically that's part of his job as well, but he's conscious of that, which is he's a nice guy. Like Mork is a nice guy. That's basically what it's boiling down for me. Is at this point in time where
Yes.
there's no acknowledgement of feelings or whatever. He's just um
He's a
cares
good
enough.
person.
Yeah, cares enough not to want to make him uncomfortable or whatever. So I love that his solution is like, I'll just take my shirt off because he can't see me. So it doesn't matter, right? and
Fantastic.
then instead we get like a feel up of the I'm trying to work out the logistics of it, right? Right booby? Was it the right
Yeah,
booby?
it's the left one.
Left booby.
Uh-huh.
And what I really loved is how like Day kind of touched it and then like stopped and was like, am I looking at is that a nipple? And then like went back for another touch before, and then he's like, did you take your shirt off? Like, I love that he took the opportunity to like go in for another go. It's like if he'd raised both hands and was like, what's happening here? I would have been like, Day, really? It felt like he was being very, advantageous of it. But, yeah, and then of course, obviously the fish tank.
I also thought how interesting, just like he has this 10 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he can see
Oh
more clearly,
yes.
like, during the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I thought was interesting is that right now he spends his 10 seconds to look at the fish. And if the fish is himself, is a representation of himself, it's like he spends his moments of clarity to actually focus more on himself and not really look anywhere else. Like he just drowns in his own existence in a way, in his own.
Mm.
It gets him even more isolated. It's like looking when you use a camera to film the mirror, and it's just like this infinite reflections, you know.
Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yep.
And it's like he doesn't spend his 10 seconds to look at. I don't know, it's not, I'm saying that it's bad to look at a fish, but if
No,
the
but
fish is a representation of
he's not
himself.
using it to look at the rest of the world or to try experiencing new things or things for the
Yeah,
last
it's like
time or yeah.
he's isolating. It's like he's stagnating himself even more.
Yeah.
And I'm going to love the moment when he decides that his 10 seconds, I bet he's going to use his 10 seconds to look at Mork.
Oh, of course. Now this is a moment where I'm like, yes, of course that's gonna happen. I'm in completely agreement. Yeah, I definitely feel that that's gonna happen. Um, I feel like I love how he's like, if the fish dies, you're fired. And then he's like, okay, but you have to help me. Like, why would I do that? I'm like, because it's your fish, you know. I did like that. I feel like
Yeah,
he's gonna make him, leave the room and do
make him do
things and
stuff.
mm.
Yeah, make him be active, make him try new things, make him look somewhere else.
I feel
And
like there's a
funnily
movie.
enough, right now he uses the fish
Yeah,
to make him do that.
I
Like,
feel like
mm,
there's a movie I've seen or a book I've read or a TV show I've seen or something with maybe not this kind of setup, but like something happens and the person is like one person is trying to get the other person to do something and like person A is trying to get person B to do something. Person B is always going, I can't do it, I can't do it, or I can't do
mhm,
this, or like whatever.
mhm,
And then suddenly something happens and they're doing it, and like person A is like, well, you're doing it. And then person B is like, oh, I feel like we're gonna have that kind of realization as well, where he's just like, you know,
mhm,
but
mhm.
it's like
Yeah,
baby steps. It'll be like getting him out of the bedroom into the house
it's
and then out of the
he's
house and into the world.
blackmailing him, forcing him in a very gentle way, but still,
Yeah.
like he wants the
Well,
fish to leave.
I feel like he's going to use all of the weapons in his arsenal, and if they're slightly underhanded, but for the right reason, then I feel like he's going to be okay with that.
Yeah,
So, all right, should we go on
let's
to
go.
part three?
Let's go. Let's go. So part three.
Yeah, it's so funny because we talk about something and then they literally do it in the next part of the scene, and it's just so amusing to me.
I did not expect Mark freaking out like this to happen so early in the series.
It's funny. When he wouldn't open the door and then he put the earphones in, I was like, hmm.
Here we
And
go, right?
then when he did
Mm.
that walking away scene, I was reminded of what you were talking about before, like the walking away from the house scene and how he like reflected, and I was like, oh my god, he's gonna freak out, and yeah, he
Yeah,
started
yeah,
to
yeah,
freak
yeah.
out. I
Yes.
wonder, I didn't pay attention. Did they do a warning at the beginning of this episode? I feel like they should have
Well,
warned people
they
for that
always
scene.
do. I mean, they always do. warm, but I don't know what exactly. I don't remember
No,
what
because I
exactly they say because I don't read what they say there.
no, but like I know with like
They say
most
like the things that happen here are not encouraging you to do the things that
no, but I mean
and
with
stuff
like
like this.
most like Western dramas, for example, if they show a scene like that, they would warn to like as like it could be a trigger or like whatever. I don't think they
Mm.
did, which people might have problems with. It didn't bother me personally, but maybe if you, I don't know why you would listen to this before watching the episode, but if you haven't watched the episode, there is a scene that like proceed with caution. Um,
Yeah.
because it might bother people. But yeah,
So
I was like, wow, he's gonna freak out, and he did, and yeah,
they start outside. They're outside. He's cleaning the fish tank,
and I'm
and
like, he got him out. He didn't even just get him out of the room; he got him into the front yard. I was like, wow, high five, nice work.
yeah, but big steps, and like if it's not small steps, it's like a big step, and then it's just
Yeah,
like
too much, too fast.
yeah. And the jasmine blooming and him giving him the flower, that was really, really cute.
Yeah, and
And the
don't you want to know what I look like? And he's just like, nah. But it was so funny though, because there was this moment where you once again, like I said, it would be interesting to see him because you'll be able to see now like his brain ticking over, like he's thinking about it, about like his reaction to him, and you could see it, I reckon, in that moment. And then he's just like, yeah, no. I also love how like Mork is calling him Nong, and I just thought how funny it would be if it actually turns out that like Day is actually older than him.
That's possible.
Yeah. And it's interesting because he's calling Night P. So but I think in Thailand they do that, like even although they do refer to Day as uh Knight's younger brother. So there's definitely a difference in there, but I wouldn't have thought that Knight's meant to be older than Mork. But I think in Thailand, besides older, also if you're not sure and like respect wise, someone who's above you in status, like you can also call them P, I believe. Um, but yeah, so I thought that was interesting. But the bit on the couch was so cute.
But also, aren't you bored of your mom's food? Like they're setting this up.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
going
we were
to
talking
so I
about it.
love
Yeah,
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 I love food. And then when they were watching the movie, like you're not, I'm not scared, and then he's totally leaning into Mark when he gets scared.
yeah. I know it was so cute. It was kind of like borderline when Mork was like teasing him back. It was like a border because he noticed as well. Like he looked down like at the way he was leaning on him and that. So it was like
Mm-hmm.
borderline flirty almost.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, of course.
it just went so like horribly wrong so quickly.
But also made him listen to the movie and ask him, "Haven't you tried this before?" And he was like, "Oh, I haven't." Like
Yeah, it
he stopped for a
hadn't occurred
moment
that
and
he
like,
might still enjoy it.
yeah, and that he has some new things to try.
Yeah, that's right.
There are things that could bring him pleasure that he hasn't tried yet.
Yeah. It's interesting too that like when Knight and the friends turn up, how they're talking about, oh, you're back from the States. Where have you been? What state you
Yeah,
been in? All this sort of stuff. It's like, whose story is that? Is this a story that like they put out in general because Day didn't want anyone to know? Or is this Knight's didn't want his friends to know that his brother was like, had this
I'm
issue?
really
Like,
curious, but I feel like it could come from either one of them because Day doesn't want to be seen like this. He doesn't want to be seen by the world, and
mm-mm.
Night probably. I don't know about Night.
Yeah. It's interesting because he didn't really like he was startled and everything, but he didn't really start freaking out until they started asking him questions that he couldn't really answer. So
Hmm.
I will be curious to see if we find like out whose narrative that is. Um but yeah, like and I love the bit when
No, but
um
when he gets inside the house and is like, "Why are you down here?" And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, Night.
I
Why
know
he's
I
down
was just
here?
I'm like it's his house, he lives here.
Why are
You
you
know,
down here? Like, you shut up."
Yeah.
And then, when they started walking, I was like, oh no, this is bad. And then they started talking about the states, and I was like, oh no, 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 no. And also when he runs away, Knight asks Mock to go check on him. It's like he tries to distance himself and pretend that day doesn't really exist.
Well,
It's
I
like
think that
it's like he accepted that narrative that he's in the States, and he feels more comfortable with the idea that his brother is in the States than with the fact that he's blind. Like he tries, like he's ignoring. I don't know how to
yeah,
really.
they're both in denial, him and his brother,
Mhm,
essentially. But it's like
mhm.
it's interesting too because I feel like Moore could have done it anyway. Like, and it's not as by this point, I feel like all the other acts of service have been because that's what he's employed to do.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like in these moments, like when he starts freaking and all the rest of it, and he's like trying to, like he's saying I'm like here and all the rest of it, like it's just pure instinct and like concern.
Hmm.
So I feel like he
Instinct.
would have,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like he would have gone anyway. You know what I mean? It's like that's his instinct to do that.
But the fact that I thought, it was interesting that, he had this reaction, and it was like an instinct reaction, but it certainly shows that he's not okay. He's,
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
that's right. He's not he's traumatized. He has like PTSD about this
yeah.
because like that was his immediate jump reaction was not, oh, this like guy is like, upset and just ignoring me and being a dick. He's like, he what if he hurts himself? And I think also he already cares about him. So
Yeah.
like he's putting him in the place of
The sister.
someone, yeah, like because he says to him, you've got a house, you've got a family who cares about you, you've got all these things, none of which he has. And Day's not wrong to say it's not the same because it's not at all the same, but it's at the same time as well he has no idea what Mork's history is and what where he is.
When he
I hope we
responds, I'm looking at Mark, and I'm like, you sympathize with him, but he doesn't sympathize with you. He doesn't see you, and not really like see because he has no vision, but he doesn't see him as a person yet. He's
no,
so focused on himself, he
yeah,
cannot focus
he's
on
blind.
anyone else right
Yeah,
now.
he's literally blind to
As he's
Mork.
looking,
Yeah,
he's literally and figuratively as
yeah,
well.
because he doesn't,
He
but he hasn't
he's
tried either.
focusing on the fish. He's only focusing on the fish, on
Yeah,
himself. That's all
yeah,
that he cares, like not cares about that. That's all what he can
handle.
care about right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like his daily task, one foot in front of the other, and that's it. Anything else, and it's too complicated. And I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, he hasn't bothered to get to know Mork, so he's not going to know, and he's not going to understand. And it's just like he would never be able to understand how Mork feels. Like he has no parents. His sister killed herself. Like it's just he's just not ever going to be able to understand what that's like either. They're both in very
Hmm.
unique positions. Uh they're both things that a lot of people are never going to know what that feels like. And we can like understand it's painful and that it's hard to manage and how to get over and hard to traumatizing and like all the rest of it for both situations. But unless something like that's happened to you, you can't sympathize with it. You can never truly know exactly what that's like. And so while they won't be able to understand necessarily, sorry, not understand, they won't like be able to feel that themselves, like each other, they'll know that there's something that they both have that's like so um you know uh soul destroying, I guess, that it's going to like um balance them out a little bit. But I just,
Keep
yeah,
talking about the mirror. A mirror is there. The mirror
yeah,
is
I
there.
loved that. That's
So.
a really clever scene right there. This is the thing that I think I'm enjoying with these newer and I mean I don't know, maybe I'm not really paid much attention in the older things that the different companies are putting out, but GMM in particular,
Hmm.
a lot of their newer stuff, like this is very clever, like
Hmm. A lot of thought is put into these details.
yeah, the way that they've taken this shot, like him literally saying, you've got no understand idea to, can't understand what it's like to look in the mirror and not recognize them, and have the focus be of him in the mirror, like his reflection in the mirror, which he can't
Not
see.
see. I think
Yeah.
he said something like not see the old you,
Yeah.
which is actually interesting that he said it like that. I actually want to go back and see, because he said not able to see the old you,
Mm.
to
And he
look in
can't.
the mirror and can't see your old self. He's not even talking about seeing himself. He wants to see his old self. He cannot
Yeah.
accept this new self. This is what he said, to look in the mirror and can't see your old self.
Mm-mm. Well, that's
I
it,
mean,
and
he's
that's the
there in
thing.
the mirror, but it's not the person that he knows. And
No.
we can see the new person, but he doesn't want to look. I mean, he can't accept that new
Yeah.
person, his new self.
Yeah. And this is the thing, is he can't see it anyway, but even if he could, it's not what he wants to see, so why bother looking?
Yeah.
Um but and just, yeah, like when Mork started to freak out, I was just like, wow, I feel like once again it was done really, really well. I thought Jimmy did an excellent job of this. I was like with him the whole way.
Yep.
Like he totally pulled me in this. And
Especially when the camera is on him, like he's
yeah.
nailing this scene where the camera is focused on him like that.
Oh, for sure.
So
And I'm
well.
just, and the fact that like he is like, we're getting these flashbacks, and obviously he wasn't there. He was in jail that night.
Mhm.
So he wasn't a part of that, but obviously she has told
He
him
told
about
him.
what she
Yeah.
found. Yeah. And so enough so that he can picture it in his mind, and now he's picturing it happening again, to
Hmm.
someone he cares about, you know what I mean? And so this time he can't walk away, this time he can't ignore it, this time he has to, you know, do
Yeah.
something about it. And then, oops, he sees him naked. And but I love
Which for
how,
Day
like,
is like, it's like someone taking advantage of his vulnerability, him
yeah,
seeing him naked like this,
yeah.
and makes
And
him feel even worse.
that's right. And it's not even like, it's not even a consideration for Mork in this. Like he's like upset that he's seen him in this way, because that was not his intention. But even then, once he gets past that, he's like, his first instinct is to check him for
Second thing,
injuries. Like
yes,
he is like,
yes,
are you okay? Like, like he's still scared. Like he's
yeah,
scared out of his mind. Only to basically get fired. And it's just like, wow. I'm really curious to watch the last part of this
me
episode,
too,
because
me
I
too.
want to know like how he goes from this, because this feeling that he's had, this fear and this like trauma that's been invoked by, the memory of his sister, and having this sort of situation. And as I remember saying, like when we reacted to last week's episode, that I felt like if Day was to disappear or go off on his own or something, that
Yeah.
this would be something that would happen. And as you said,
Mm,
I wasn't expecting it to happen in episode 2 either, but I'm not surprised it happened here.
mhm.
And I feel like this is definitely not the last time we're going to see this. It'd be interesting
Yeah.
to know whether or not the next time it happens, whether Day knows this history that Mork has,
Mhm.
because I feel like I'm going to get really mad at him if
He does.
if he knows and he
Mhm.
still behaves in a way that he knows is going to potentially trigger this trauma, because
That.
it'd be a bit selfish. Yeah. So I'm really curious to know what's going to happen next. So
Let's go. Let's
let's
go
watch
it.
the next bit. All right.
Part 4.
Part 4. Wow. Like the instant regret at the beginning of part 4. Um the
Yeah.
story in the background. If you come back at the same time
See?
every day,
So
the
this means that Jay is the fox in this situation.
no, the fox is the one who's talking in this. The fox is the one who he goes to visit. So the fox says to the little prince, if you come back at the same time every day to visit me, then the
Yeah.
hour before.
So he is the fox. Like, I mean, Mock had to come and kind of like tame him and come closer and try to come closer and closer. Jay is the fox in this situation.
I don't know. I didn't interpret this moment in regards to who was the little prince and the fox. I thought the more important interpretation is what it's the lesson that he's being taught by what's being said, which
Oh,
is
come on, important interpretation. You made a poll about this.
no,
We
but
need
I mean
to
like
talk
in
about
this
this. He's
I
the Fox
mean like
News.
I just mean like in this point in time. Look, stop calling me out, all right? I like, but in this point in
I will,
time,
if I
I
want
be-
to.
I believe that like the lesson
I
that's being
deserve
learned.
it.
I'm like, you're not too far for me to come and like poke you.
I
I
told
have a
you.
passport. I can do it.
Come here.
Um
I'm waiting.
you're like threaten me with
I
something
have
like,
sweets.
yeah. You're like, come, I'll supply the treats. Yeah, I feel like the main lesson that he's learning from what's being the narrative that's being told here though is that like
It's
it's this
time.
realization that, you know, the same time every day, if you get used to something, the hour before that, that expectation that something good is going to happen, like
Mm-hmm.
makes that part of the day more joyful. And so he's woken up and there's no morgue.
Yeah.
He's there every day with the breakfast and they're waking him up, and suddenly it's like it's super bright in the room when he wakes up, like the it's like so bright, and it's the brightest that room has ever been, and yet
Mm-hmm.
it's the darkest it's ever been, if that makes any
It's
sense.
not. Yeah, it's not cozy anymore. It's like something is missing. It's like
Yeah.
part of him is missing.
And
Yeah.
the other
They
thing,
but the part that made it so alive and so interesting, the room
yeah. And
somehow is missing now that the yeah.
the thing that really I'm fascinated about, and now I'm not sure it was on purpose, but I'm going to mention it anyway. I'm curious to see what happens in future flashbacks. So we got this immediate sort of flashback here of his memory, and this scene's so interesting because there's this echo effect on it. Did you have that?
What do you mean? What flashbacks do you mean?
So when he's remembering, like, when he wakes up and he's remembering like the kind of what happened before,
Mm,
and there was, did you like, was it just my recording of it? I don't know. There's like an echo filter.
okay. I don't
now
remember.
now
I
I'm
don't
like, now I'm like, was it just me? I'm like, it's for seriously for real. Okay. Anyway, in mine on my recording of it, like this is not gonna make any sense if no one else heard it except for me. But like,
I just don't remember what flashbacks. There were flashbacks?
yeah, there was a bunch of flashbacks in this episode.
I don't remember.
How do you not remember the flashbacks? Okay, there are flashbacks. I feel like I want to say, let's just stop and go and watch the flashbacks, so I know that I'm not the only person imagining this. Hang on a minute. Let me find out where they were. I think we should. I
Oh
need you to.
no, I'm gonna do it myself. It's fine. I hear.
No,
Oh,
but I
the
don't want to spend
flashbacks of
10
him
minutes.
talking to the counselor. You mean? Because this is the only one I can see.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't want to. I don't want to spend 10 minutes talking about an echo filter if it wasn't really there.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, all right.
So at like 1 minute, like say 14.
Mm-hmm. Oh, do you want to know what I look like? Okay, yes. Uh-huh, I see it.
See that? So it echoes, right?
I don't know. I guess it does. I mean, so
So well, that's really interesting because like when you have a normal flashback in a drama, there's no echo like that.
it depends.
Like the sound it sounds like it's in stereo.
Mm.
Maybe it's just mine.
No, I don't think so. Maybe there is. It depends because sometimes they use this effect
I've never
like
heard this before, like used by like GMM in something like this, like ever.
I don't know about GMM, but I did hear echoes in flashbacks when it's like something that you want to have back, like when it's
Oh
about a
yeah,
person
yeah,
who
but I
died
mean,
or when it's
I
something like
yeah, I mean like
it's
for
echo
them,
because
I mean for GMM, I've never heard them do anything like this
mm,
before.
mhm,
So if
mhm.
it's on purpose, I'm like, it's really really interesting because you have this whole like thing, you know, with sensory stuff, like when you lose one sense, other senses get more important. the echo is like because it's like
It's
a
like the
memory
memory
from
is slipping away
yeah
from you.
yeah, but also like an echo from the past, like just the whole there's like a bunch of reasons why it's really interesting. But then
Hmm.
they showed Day having a flashback of
The counselor.
something, not sorry Day, sorry, they had Mork having a flashback of something. I can't remember what it was now. And he's also had the echo. So now I don't know if it's just a mistake in the editing or whether it's like just something they're
Maybe
doing.
this is how they represent flashbacks in this series. Who knows? I
Yeah, I
guess
guess
we'll
we'll
see.
find out. Tune
Yeah.
in next week to see if there were echoes in the flashbacks. But yeah,
Yes.
if they're doing it on purpose, I think it's really interesting. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, and then we had Day downstairs on his own,
Yeah.
right? And like going through the DVDs, which I thought was really cute.
It's like he's already comfortable with this. He already knows. He's familiar with this.
Well, I mean,
Like,
it's like that thing, like this, although it was
it,
scary and there was drama, and like when he
yeah.
woke up and he realized like what he'd done, like he had these memories, and he realized like basically what a stupid dick he'd been. He was like massive regret, and he's like
Hmm.
the sky didn't fall, the world didn't end, like yeah, it was
Now this is also
embarrassing,
his
but
comfort zone. His
yeah.
comfort zone is bigger now. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like, yeah, it was embarrassing, but like in the grand scheme of things, I kind of fucked it up, and now I'm alone again. Like what
Hmm.
happened with those people who aren't his friends is not like the worst thing that happened last night, sort of thing. The worst thing is that he fired Mork. So, and then we had poor, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Pujai,
Time.
yeah.
Oh, her
Turn
name.
up,
I don't know her. I'm going to look her up because I want to remember her name.
but I loved the like fish slippers
Bye.
that he
Okay.
gave him.
Oh, did you notice they had a band-aid?
Yeah, they
Like
had
the fish
band-aids
had a
on them.
band-aid.
Yeah. But I just love them as well because they're so cute. Like this is going to be merch for GMM. Last Twilight are these slippers probably, and I would be
I think
sorely.
so.
I would be like a little bit tempted to buy these because they look super friggin' comfortable. But yeah, you're not breaking any toes or stubbing any toes wearing those, which is like
Hmm.
it's such a sweet consideration. And then once again, we had the flashbacks again, and we had the echo again. So as I said, I'm not sure if it's on purpose or not, but I just loved all of that. Um,
I thought when she appeared there at first, I thought they're going to do this thing where she's going to tell him, like, this is why he reacted like that or something like this. But I actually love the fact that they did not go there.
yeah, I must admit I wasn't expecting that. I don't know why. I feel like he'll find out later. Like I think it's too soon.
I
Um,
love the fact that he decided to get him back not because of this, but just because he thought it felt right for him,
yeah. Well, I
even
think is
without having that information.
yeah, I think like just this gift that he gave him. He hasn't asked for anything. He didn't send
Hmm.
her there with an ulterior motive of like,
Hmm.
trying to get his job back, or there was like nothing like that. It was just like here is something I know that that will benefit you and will help to
Hmm.
encourage you to continue on this journey. Like I don't want you, basically what he was the message he sent to him through her was, I don't want you to go backwards just because things didn't work out with us. Like
And
keep
also,
moving
the fish
forward.
has a band-aid.
Yeah, it's just really cute.
Because you get hurt, but you heal and you go on, which happened to him when he went downstairs and got his foot like.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then him asking her, like a complete stranger, to take him to Morgue, like
yeah.
is a huge indication of like how much he's already like missing him and wanting him to be there, because that is like way out of his comfort zone.
And how much he trusts him,
Yeah.
because he decided that if Mark trusts this person to come to him, like he can trust her as well because he
Yeah.
trusts Mark already.
That's right, and he I guess knows that he wouldn't send somebody there that he wouldn't be safe with or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just, when you saw that he had blindfolded himself, I'm like, of course he did. I'm so in love with this boy right now.
Me too. I'm like,
I'm
oh my god, I'm in love with him already. What? I don't know how this happened. I really am. I'm in love with him.
I'm like, it's Kang all over again for me. Yeah, I mean, like, once again, I know we're meant to sympathize and we're meant to like fall in love with Day, but I'm just like, I'm sorry, see, Jimmy just stole me. Yeah, I just
No,
seriously
I
this
don't
boy.
know. I mean, we don't know him yet. We know so much more about Morg than we do about Day because now he's a closed book.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you cannot really fall
We
in
are
love with a
getting to
closed
see a
book.
lot more of Mork for sure. But yeah, I'm
Like
just like this.
we see him in this voyeuristic way where we see things that we shouldn't really see, and we know things about him because he has no control over this. Like he did not open up. He did not. He's trying to hide everything about himself. We will need some time to fall in love with him. I feel like.
Yeah, I think the. I mean, I got a little bit closer towards the end of this episode. Like
Yeah,
I'm definitely getting more endeared today through this, but I think the reason why I fell in love with Morg was because like he's lost the job already. What he's doing here is pointless. He's not trying to get his job back or anything. So what he's doing here is purely and simply because he cares enough to want to try and understand.
yeah.
So he doesn't make the same mistake again. So he's not ignorant. So like he doesn't lose someone else in the future that's important to him or like whatever. It's the sweetest fucking thing ever, and it's like it's so
He's not.
kind and it's so
Yeah, and she's not
selfless.
even angry at him for firing him or
No,
for whatever. He,
yeah, the first thing he
it's
does is
just what
apologize
the
because he's
fuck
like
is
I was so wrong, like I'm so sorry,
yeah.
like, and I
I'm in
just
love with him a little bit.
yeah, I
Seriously.
know.
Uh,
And then the thing that got me though about this scene was it's like a seriously beautiful moment. I like had a little tear in my eye because I was so impressed with Morg's character here. And he's wearing a fucking t-shirt that says fart proudly on it with the words with a bunch of stuff written on it and then underneath stand behind me. And I every time I like was getting kind of serious and cute, I would lose it because I would focus on the t-shirt and just start laughing again. Um and I don't know
I
what
did
it
not
is.
notice
I
that.
keep paying attention to the t-shirts. I was really trying to read what she had on her t-shirt because she had a bunch of like writing on her t-shirt, and there were
I
lines.
noticed like mm, her t-shirt that I noticed was in the bathroom scene when she finds the sister, and I noticed she was wearing the Beatles t-shirt, was kind of like
Um,
feels weird saying that I noticed that in that scene. And I was trying to read what was written on her t-shirt when she came today as well, but I couldn't focus, I guess.
yeah, well, I was trying to read it too, and I got enough of it to know it's a quote from something, and it was bugging me because I can't work out what it is. And of course, when you pause on YouTube, like half the page disappears with crap. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
may never. I'm gonna have to try and take a screenshot of it later because it's gonna bug me because I'm like, oh, I know that. What is it? Um, but yeah,
And
it's like the
then
weird that
let's say
I'm.
their eyes, like, now you have to get naked for me to forgive you.
Oh
And then
yeah,
he doesn't really want that to happen. I mean, what
yeah.
would he lose if
I
that
love how he's
happened?
like. I love how Morg's like. Really, that's all I have to do, and like he's like totally willing.
He
He's like,
turns up.
I'll stand up, I'll do this. And after just saying like, this is the marker I come to every day, he's like, yeah, I'll just get naked in front of everyone. It's not a big deal. It's
Uh-huh.
not like I'm ever gonna see them every other day. But yeah, and already see
And
sort of
then,
proprietary and like, no, don't do that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. He, like, let's say their eyes. Yeah, you care about their eyes. And then, and then he's enjoying himself on the bike, which is really nice.
I love
He's
how we got
experiencing the stuff.
the little acknowledgement that Mork recognized that he was taking a selfie. Like he recognized like what he was doing because of what he
Hmm.
saw the counselor do it.
Yeah.
Um, and I have to say, there's two things about this fish scene. Like the beginning of this fish scene, the first thing was Morella, the fish was named Day.
Of course, his little day. Of course, his name is Little
You
Day.
were talking
The
about
fisher's
like
name.
he's just like staring at himself in this fish tank, and it's like literally his name was Day, so he really was like staring at himself. And I was just like, wow, okay, do you feel really clever right now?
I mean, that's kind of on the nose, though. I don't know.
I know, I think it's in a line with what you were saying, so I think it makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
But the thing that really
And
bugged
it's
me,
interesting that is it true that Knight bought him the fish? If it is, that's interesting.
yeah, the
I don't
and
know. I
and
don't know
when
what I think about Knight. Like some things that he does, I don't like them. It makes me get angry with him. But
yeah,
some things I can't really read. I feel like I need more background information to understand where he's coming from. I feel like something is missing, and I need that information in order
well,
to make up my mind about him.
yeah, hopefully we'll get that. I feel like it will. I really do feel like it's all going to be tied up in what happened to today. But
Mhm.
the 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 bit where like when she comes to see him and that he's like he's a really good big brother there, and so the fish thing, it's interesting to see
The
as
way
well.
he leaves, the way she looks at him, and he understands that they need some privacy, and he leaves.
Yeah. It's interesting to me as well as to where, like, if Knight gave him the fish, when did he give him the fish? Was it pre-injury or post-injury? Because I feel like that's important as well. Um,
Because he gave him the fish, and he said he never wanted the fish, but he did stare at the fish, like he used his 10 seconds to look at that fish.
yeah.
He
Um,
does care about that fish.
yeah, of course he does. It's like the bicycle. No, I'm just like if people haven't listened, the motorcycle, if the big bike, if people haven't listened to our Dangerous
Oh.
Romance podcast, that won't make any sense. But yeah. Um
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, and it's just like, but there's one thing that happened in this scene that like it kind of ruined it for me, because I'm like, that fish is gonna die now. Because this is not how you introduce a fish to a new aquarium. You're meant to put
I
it in the bag in the water so that the water temperature goes like acclimatizes itself so that it evens out. Otherwise, you
uh-huh,
know, if the water's too
uh-huh.
cold or something, the fish will die from shock. So anyway, that bothered me. I was like, what are they
Oh,
doing?
but
um
it's big Mork. That fish will survive. It's good.
so he can take it.
He will survive.
He's from the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah, he can do it.
So,
He's
or
been through
no,
worse.
he's from the wrong side of the pond rather. um Yeah, I did like the big Mork little day thing. And oh my
Mhm.
god, I loved this filming, like using the fish tank as the filter. I
Yeah,
It was very pretty, and I love how
very
soft
good.
it made everything. And seriously, I was like dying when, because we know that Mork has been like staring at him at like any opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Unheeded, you know, not having to worry about being caught and everything. And then like the one time Day like seriously does it, and he totally gets sprung. And the way he looked away so guiltily, like it's like, yeah, I wanted to I just wanted to tease him a lot.
Yeah, but you see, Mark saw it and he pretended he didn't see it because I think he sensed how that meant something, and he wasn't like, no one was ready to start
No,
that
acknowledge
conversation at
that.
that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then like only like what, less than a minute later or something, he says like,
no
no
more
more
loneliness.
loneliness,
Little
little
day.
Day. And then when he look, you know, like Day looks at him and he catches him again, and he's got this big grin on his face, like it's, so it's like he doesn't acknowledge it the first time, but then he's like, oh, you know what, actually I think I want to go back for some more. And like it's
Well,
just
he says stuff indirectly. Like he just as in the previous, like I don't remember which part that was, when he said something like it must be lonely to be alone. Like he meant Day, not little Day.
yeah,
And
yeah.
this again here.
Oh yeah, but I'm just like, it's like he was already waiting for him to like to catch him staring. Like I just
Mm.
he's just like, yeah. He's like, if you look at it, it was almost like he was like, if you look at me again, this time I've got you, kind of thing. I just thought it was really cute.
I feel like it was easier to do it through it to do it. Like it's not the same doing it through the tank and
No,
the way he
it's
did it.
safer.
It was more, yeah. It was more like, I don't know, not sincere, but it was kind of, I don't know. I'm going to use weird words for to describe staring. It was like raw. Like my brain doesn't English right now. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's safer. It's safer. It's kind of muted through the tank.
It's like there's a world between them, and the tank is between them, and then when he looks directly at him, there's nothing. Like it's just honest interest, and there's no way, like no way to hide it.
Yeah. I guess the thing is with the tank between them as well, you can always like use the excuse that you
Pretend.
were watching the
Yeah.
fish or you were whatever,
Yeah.
even though like it's very clear that they're looking at one another. You have this thing between you that you can be, oh no, I was looking at this here, you know, like this piece of like grassy stuff
Yeah.
growing out the bottom. It looks slimy. Perhaps we should clean the tank again. Like, yeah, it's an excuse
It meant a
almost.
lot. Yeah, when he looked at him directly.
Yeah. But yeah, I just really liked it. I thought it was very cute.
Well,
The
now I
trailer,
cannot wait for the moment when he gets close to him to actually look at him, like from that one finger distance.
yeah, especially if he does it right after he's had his drops in and everything. And then we had the trailer for next week, which looks like both cute and interesting, and also a little bit harrowing.
Yeah.
So basically, just like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think
I want it. I'm
yeah,
ready.
it's an interesting little roller coaster each week, I think. So
Just as with Dangerous Romance, there was always something, you know, that kind of made you want to cry in every episode, even if the episode was really happy, and
yeah, I
there was
definitely
always
felt
something.
that way in this.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the bit where like Mork was, as I said, he was triggered. That upset me because Jimmy just did such a good job of that scene. And then again, I almost cried a little bit about how like wonderful he is. With the blindfold thing, I was just like, wow. I'm like, marry me.
Yeah, my note literally said, "I'm in love with him."
Yeah.
Here it is. Like one note, the one above it says he's trying to understand him better, and then after this, I'm in love with him.
Yeah. Mine said he's trying to understand him, and then I was like, marry me. I'm easy. You just have to be a good guy, like, you know.
Don't we all want a good person who
Or
wants to understand us better? Like, isn't this a dream?
yeah.
Like someone putting so much effort into trying to understand us.
Seriously. And I mean, I'm even easier because I'm not even that picky, guy or girl. Just a nice person will do for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, someone send me a nice person who does nice things for people.
This is really a really nice episode. That a lot of stuff made me feel a lot of emotions. Like I don't know, all over the place.
I really did enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny because my mom's watching it too. Like she watched last week's episode, and then she watched it. She said to me, "Is it good?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "We've started a new podcast on it." She's like, "Oh, okay." And then she said to me last night, "The new episode's today, isn't it?" I'm like, "No, Mum, it's like Friday." She's like, "Oh." I was like, "No, we have to wait one more day." And it sounds weird, but it's last Twilight Day. Last sounds so weird because we were so used to saying it's Dangerous Romance Day. But yeah. It's Last Twilight. Last Twilight is a little bit more of a tongue twister.
Last Twilight.
Yeah.
We can manage. We can do it.
We'll work it out.
Okay, we'll train.
Well, we've got like a few more episodes. We can get it out. But yeah. So
we'll learn how to say critical obsession and potential obsessions and safe house crushes and everything. You can do it.
yeah.
Please don't lose faith in us.
Yes. Look, hang on. Sometimes we have trouble saying our own names. So
Oh my god.
I feel like you have more faith in us than I do.
Oh yes.
Seriously, we should actually be stockpiling all of the outtakes of us trying to introduce this podcast, because I feel like we could have a really funny, like someone could like make a song and make us rap trying to like get out our names. It's just a bunch of us trying to say our names and laughing, basically. I have no idea why it's so funny, but it's funny every week. So
all right, so this was fun.
At least for us.
See you next time, or hear you. No, we actually can't hear you and see you. But you'll hear us next time for our next reaction to The Last Twilight. Maybe we'll have a critical discussion as well. We'll see how things go.
Yeah. We definitely seem to be having a lot to say anyway, so we'll
Yeah,
we'll,
this
we'll have
is
a think about it.
yeah, this is not a reaction. This is clearly a critical reaction.
Yeah,
So
critical. I really actually like that we've had a morph. We're like, it's not quite a reaction, it's not quite a critical discussion, so it's a critical reaction. It should
yeah,
probably actually be a reaction discussion, but whatever.
it's fine. We do to like us. We do
That's
us.
right. That's right. We walk to the beat of our own drum.
Exactly. So bye bye then.
All right. See you later next time.